Alan Gilchrist created the Commodore Home Computer Museum in New Zealand around about 1999 and continued until 2011. But before we get to the museum, let's look at what Alan did beforehand. Alan's journey with Commodore started as Television Services Hauora as an authorised Commodore service centre. This was operated from 20 Vogel Street in Hauora, a small country town in New Zealand. And this business was operated out of Alan's garage, servicing and repairing Commodore computers and other electronic devices. The service became so popular, there was a need for greater premises. There was a need for a retail outlet in Hauora. Alan also promoted and sold Commodore computers at local trade shows like the AMP show in Hauora. At this stage, he was still trading as Television Services Hauora, but a change would soon happen to become a fully fledged retail store, and with the new name Computer Concepts. This all happened in 1988 in October, where he opened up his store on 92 Princess Street in Hauora. The name of the business changed to Computer Concepts in 1st of April 1989, and a new Commodore Service Centre certificate was issued the 1st of August 1989. This now meant there was a fully fledged Commodore computer store in Hauora, and this proved to be very successful to the point they had to now move to larger premises just 1 year later, and on the 14th of August 1989 they moved across the road to 91 Princess Street. This meant more Commodore computers, more Commodore software could fit into this new store. This new store proved to be a real teenage male magnet, with boys checking out the new software, new products daily in the store. And farmers would come into the store to buy their Commodore computer systems for their farms with big huge wads of $10 notes. And because Concept Computers also had the Commodore education contract, they managed to sell Commodore computers to most of the schools in the region. The business continued to flourish. Jean, Alan's wife, became the shop assistant. Alan also had an employee, Lance, who helped him with servicing and selling of Commodore computers to the public. At this stage, Commodore Computers New Zealand Limited, which was an agency, looked after all of New Zealand for Commodore computers. They had a reputation of looking after their staff, and one example is that when they hit their first $1 million turnover in a single month, the management put up a free return trip to Hawaii. And for every $10,000 they got over that, the staff were given an additional ticket. That month, 9 staff and their spouses went to Hawaii. But it does really show how they looked after both staff and also their dealers. This is because they were a privately owned business by 3 entrepreneurs, Dick Anderson, Mike Cooch and Bruce Taylor. But I'll mention more about Commodore Computers New Zealand Limited in my upcoming documentary. Why am I mentioning all this? It's because the same generosity was extended to dealers as well. This store in Hauora, Computer Concepts, was a very small store, but their sales were really strong. So Commodore Computers New Zealand Limited sheltered both Alan and Jean an all expenses paid trip to Brisbane to the World Expo in 1988. But unfortunately, Alan's health began to deteriorate, and on July the 6th, 1990, Alan sold the business to his employee, Lance McLaughlin, and they made the move to Dunedine. By this time, Alan had sold Commodore computers, mainly AMIGAs, to most of the schools in the region. Alan also started Water Tower Software, a subsidiary from Concept Computers, making educational software for preschools and schools. And in a local newspaper, The Star, December 12, 1989, said this about Alan: "Thousands of New Zealand school children are taking their first steps in education and learning basic computer work thanks to the ingenuity of a Hauora company, Computer Concepts." No one can deny the influence that Alan had on computing in New Zealand in the 80s and the 90s. But he didn't stop there. With the move to Dunedin, he wasn't able to open up a new Commodore store because there was too many Commodore dealers there already, but he did retain his Commodore Computers service centre status. He set up a workshop and began to do warranty and out-of-warranty Commodore work for Eclipse Radio, Dick Smith and Shand computers. Even Commodore in Auckland sent Alan their faulty Commodore monitors to be repaired. A Commodore agent in Christchurch would send Alan their AMIGA 2000 power supplies. The fault with these was always a single resistor that went in high value and stopped the power supply from starting up. Alan said this was good money just for a few minutes work, and they never did ask what the problem was, and he said, "I never told them. Why would I?" So true. Alan continued to trade until January the 17th, 1994, where he had to cease because of health issues. By this stage, Commodore International had gone to receivership and Commodore New Zealand had to follow suit, even though it was still profitable. So Alan went on to the sickness benefit and officially retired. Retirement worked out well for Alan because now he had time on his hands and he decided to collect Commodore computers. He was able to get quite a few Commodore computers for free from garage sales, and he was able to save a lot of Commodore computers from going to the rubbish dump. After about 12 months of collecting, he had a really good collection. So he purchased benches and shelves to set them up in his garage to display his collection, and the Commodore Home Computer Museum, New Zealand, was born. In Alan's notes, he pointed out that this was not his complete collection that was on display. Even so, the collection ranged from the pets right up to the CD32s. Admission was free because Alan just wanted to share his passion for Commodore computers with the public. A visitor book was set up and hundreds of people over the lifespan of the museum visited. One such person wrote this to me: "I visited the museum with my dad when I was a teenager. There was a whole lot of computers packed in a pretty standard versatile garage. It inspired me and basically started my vintage collecting of today." The blue Commodore rally jacket and also the AMIGA sweatshirt you see there hanging up was recently donated to me by Jean for the future Commodore Computer Museum. You can watch that unboxing video in the link in the description below. What I love about Alan's story is that he started his Commodore career in a garage, and he ends it also in a garage as well with this beautiful museum. Alan's goal was to preserve the history of Commodore computers in New Zealand, and I think he did a great job at it. Underneath the curtains that you see at the bottom of the shelves was more Commodore computers packed to the brim. Can you name all the Commodore computers that you can see over the next couple of pictures? One of those items, of course, is that Commodore SX64. This was donated to him by the Christchurch Commodore user group that became defunct. And of course, all of the Commodore computers on display worked as well. Because of ailing health, Alan finished the museum in 2011 and sold it, we believe, for about $4,000 to some lucky collector. With Alan's passing, it ends a chapter in Commodore history in New Zealand. A chapter that spanned from 1986 to 2011. From starting in the garage as a Commodore service agent to having a dealership, becoming a service agent again in Dunedine, and opening the museum and running the museum for so many years. We really do appreciate Alan's contribution to preserving Commodore history in New Zealand. And now we'll look at the website that Alan created for the Commodore Computer Museum around about 2001. And this is how it looked in 2011 before it was closed down. What I'll do is I'll scroll through each of the pages that Alan had so you can see what content was on the website. And as I scroll, I'll leave you there. And thank you for watching this very important part of New Zealand's Commodore computer history. Until next time, ciao.